I didn't know you existed. I thought we were just all men walking wearing trousers and doing what we've been taught to do for ages. And there was nothing wrong in what we're doing. I am moved by these beautiful women behind me who spoke from an angle that I know but have managed to suppress so deep in my psyche that I even denied its existence and even denied their own existence. The strange thing about this, my mother was a woman. How did I miss this? How the hell did I get where I am without knowing my mother is a woman? I don't know. People have spoken so well about the pressures that we men go through every day. I'm 77 years old, and I'm nervous every day. When I was 25, the world was mine. I was invincible. I was even immortal. Nothing could stand in my way. My grandfather had 3 wives, and he did not know how to spell polygamy. He just had 3 wives. I had the privilege of going through these 3 grand old ladies, provided our schedule does not collide. I knew my grandfather's program, that at this time he's with Grandma 3, a young Domzasemambondwe, Dombigambaul. All she did the whole day was makeup. She had this beautiful black line going through the nose. And when she spoke to us, she says, "Who am I?" I said, "You're my grandmother." She says, "No, look again. I'm everything you are." When a little girl walked past and said, "Do you see that little girl?" I said, "Yes, Grandma. What do you see?" And I'm done. Sharapa, Glekone says, "Sango, New Bright," and says, "No, you see me." Every time you look at a little girl, you see me. Whatever comes out of mouth, referred or targeted to that little girl, if you could do it to me, you can do it to her. But if you can't do it to me, you can't do it to her. My grandma number 2 is the one that brought education and religion. Oh, she prayed. Was the AME. She brought into our family the understanding of the Almighty, that there was someone much, much, much more than you are. And you are here for a purpose. You're not just a slide in a projector on off. But grandma number 1 was the traditionalist, Thomas the Makwati. She taught me that I was a descendant of great kingdoms. She said even the great-great-great-great-great-grandfather Umjaja was a king actually, which makes me a prince. For some time I believed this, and I believed it deliberately, because I realized she was preparing me from the onslaught of an inhumane system that would encounter me as I grow up, called apartheid. So the only thing wrong in my life was white people, not black people. But as I grew up, I realized that the major problem with me was where I am with among men and my fathers and my grandfathers and my uncles, who kept saying, they never gave me the opportunity to be me. So I had to grow up looking at these examples of successful men. Some of them were not successful because they did anything good, because they were successful. And I got myself into the storytelling little profession, which I thought was about just making fun and making money. It's the other side that did make the money, but I did not make the fun. Because every time I opened my mouth, I got into trouble. Some people seem to think I'm an actor, I'm a writer. Some even call me a cultural activist. I'm none of those things. Mama Mgelo. She was about 5'8", and she had a 58 double D breast quiddy. And when she cushioned me in those breasts, the world was safe. There was nothing. My father was 5 feet, 6 feet, 8 inches tall, 2 meters wide. No, that was my impression of him from standing on the ground. But one of the things that I will never forget, as a black child in the 50s and the early 60s, you were never allowed to visit your father at work. Never. So I asked him, what if the house is burning? He says, call the fire department. What if my mother's being attacked and the house is burgled? Call the police. What if? She says, stop asking. You will know what to do when that happens. And one day, I went. I broke the rules. I got into this big administration office and I was looking for my father. It was then that I realized why he didn't want me to get there. Because there I encountered a boy. There I encountered a boy that had his hands in front of his balls, that spoke to this 30-year-old thing who's white with his head slightly tilted down. This is the man I thought was God. This is the man I thought was no one could be above my dad. I, for a moment, walked through. I didn't go to him because I turned away, because I wanted not to embarrass him or to leave that stain in his heart that I saw him as a boy. This is the man who came home and slept on my mother and made 11 of us. We lived in a four-room house. I never bumped into them doing nothing. I don't know when the other kids were made. I don't know. I don't know. Because I've never been like you. Sorry. Never. And yet there are 11 of us. This is the man. And I've realized that I have more respect and love for my mother, who married a boy and treated him like a man. The center of humanity is with that woman I call my mother. It is from that point I changed my view of the world. All my life, I've been a human rights activist. If you define GBV, if you define all the things that we do to the women, if we call ourselves men for women, if we call ourselves protectors of women, I believe we're in the wrong space. No woman needs a protection from a man. How dare you think you have the power to protect women? No, you don't. Because if I fix you, I don't have to protect my daughter. If I fix you, my wife is safe. If I fix you, my niece can go to a post office and walk out with mail, not with her virginity ravaged. If I fix you, there is no need to protect anybody. I sit here and I'm thinking to myself, I like Joshua. He's not in the norm. I like people who are not normal. Because they're not followers. They're leaders. They're innovators. They're people who create and see vision. I'm looking at everybody as I'm being introduced, and everybody who's acknowledged, and I'm thinking, these are the thinkers of Africa. How the hell are we meeting today only? Only. Come on, sir. Is there no other meeting we're arranging? This is not multiplying factor. Are there no ripples that are going to go across to Mpumalanga? So that we spread the truth, the wisdom, the power, the knowledge. I write plays, stories, and I'm thinking about being a man. There's nothing wrong being a man. It's beautiful being a man. I love you when you say we sit in our thrones. The problem is the white people took the throne long ago. Sihlele bange. Leo vasi washik. I love it. The problem with me is socialization. I was told throughout my life until I was 75 that women are serving me. I used to, remember when I got married a long time ago, my eldest daughter is 57, and I just got married. Oh, I was was so excited. She was so beautiful. She was dressed and the towel and everything on top. And now I get ready to dress to go to my friend's Esporti in New Brighton. Just as I reached the gate, my mom says, "Stop." I said, "Yeah." Says, "Oh, what's going to happen to her?" I said, "I'm married." Because I want to tell the guys, "Hey, Jeff's married life." Yeah, guys, I can't stay long because I'm married. Yeah, gents, man, you know, being married is different. But mom doesn't want me to leave the house. She's asking me, what about her? And she says to us, "Mandy, Kula is print quickly. Put your nice clothes, which he saw you were wearing when he fell in love with you. Go with him." Because she's not married to us. No. Me and your father have quiet time. We're not going to stop talking about what we normally talk, which is gossiping about you. Now suddenly there's this person we don't know. You brought here 2 weeks ago. Now you're bloody married to her. And now you're living it with us. We don't want her. We don't know her. Amba Sisinaye. I get to the gate. I don't know where to go. Because she was not in my plan as a man. It is these little lessons that our parents drop that sometimes we learn not to listen. The black man is in serious trouble. He's asked so many questions. So many things are expected from him. We had to fight and give up our lives and children to liberate this country. We were in a bloody, ruthless war. I remember us driving down New Brighton and people were screaming. I got out of my car, we got into this little shack and there was fire. We kicked the door and I saw the head of a doll on the floor. A head of a doll. And I knew it was a little doll for the baby, so I lifted it up. It was a burnt skull of a little child. And I had touched it with my hands. I was called when Reverend Maklina Mzwande PE had already a necklace around him, the tire, to come and negotiate for his release. I have seen bodies lying in the street. I have been normalized to accept violence as normal. Now the war was not over. The war took a break in 1994. The war took a break. And quickly they set up the Truth and Reconciliation. And they didn't know how to define reconciliation. And they put a quick band-aid around the nation in order for us to be accepted in the global community and trade. No one was individually cancelled from that traumatic life to the present. We're walking wounded. So what do? We do the same psychology. White man kicks my ass, I clap my wife. The wife haps the children, the child kicks the dog. That's where we are now. Until we heal. In America, there are more suicides in hundreds and thousands of men coming from America's war around the world. People from Afghanistan, from Iraq, from the Middle East, all these wars. But they have now moved into individual counseling. That we need to be debriefed. They need to remove the memory of the violence we were brought up in so that we could see the world differently. And then we could react and interact with fellow species of this earth differently. So these are the challenges we have. Sometimes I feel it's too late. But sometimes I feel, nah, because my neighbor's son has just got his BCom and Mama K sells tomatoes in the Streeter Park station and this kid is now graduated. And I think there's something good about us. There's something good about us. I open the newspapers, I sit on the TV, and I see things that make me think, no, we lost again. We lost again. And then I see something good. I see something about corruption. I see the Zondo Commission. I see all these things. I know, as an elder, that we're in trouble. And that trouble is not simply how we behave to our women. the byproduct of our in trouble is manifested by the damage and the violence against our women. And we think this violence is gender-based violence. We do not realize it's actually the violation of human rights. It has to be elevated to human rights. And then it immediately involves UNESCO, it involves United Nations, it involves those people who violate other people's human rights to be taken to the International Court of Justice. Because they have done genocide among our own women. As my elder uncle said, if there's too much water, the white man says, blow up the well.
Sure.
And the black man says, open more furrows to other areas. Open more streams so the water can be reachable to other areas. And we have this problem. We speak good English. Jesus, we've been educated to speak very good English. We get so lost in this English excellence that we are assumed because we speak good English that we are wise, that we are learned, that we are important people. If I were to say this, just pause. Means that my wedding or nagel.
Indeed.
It's time we make a U-turn. It's time we become benevolent despots. It's time we stand together and say to that San Gamambele opposite the street, not in this community. We are so afraid of the law. Before you discipline, we think about what law I'm breaking. Before we open our mouths to voice our abhorrence at anything happening, we think, are we invading other people's human rights? Is it my place? Why am I opening my mouth? Because I know of various instances where someone tried to intervene, that person was killed. So then, does that make us impotent? Does that make us immobilized? We need brave people now who says, this is it. This is the turning point. There's no more about this. No more. What we need as men is to be human beings. We just need to be human beings. We just need to feel. We just need, I love when you said, my brother, I cried, I laughed. I laughed. I was about to pick up the phone and say to him, say, Piru, I can't make it today. Because about a week ago, my sister, who's 57 or 67, went to hospital because she had complications with some of the things inside her, which we've never even been told by my mother about what are those things that women sometimes go through. Do you see that diseducation? I'm here, I'm a human being. I should know these things. I go straight to my come back from England, and my little 13-year-old daughter is sick. So she says it's got cramps. So we go to the doctor together, and she's now sitting there, and I'm talking to Dr. John. I know him, he's my friend. I think this one is one of those things. It's about time, in women's issues. And she says, Dada, that was 2 years ago. I says to my wife, why wasn't I told? No, why wasn't I told? She said, it's a woman's thing. I said, not in my house. Everything in my house is my house and my terms and my me. And my wife said, could you say that again? I knew there were too many mice. I knew the problem was the too many mice. Up to today, if I'm walking and I say to you, this is Mandy. Yeah, it's my girlfriend to me. But we're married and we have 7 children and 8 grandchildren. I can't say this is my wife. She will really look me with a clap in her eyes. Because I'm not part of the property of my car, my house, my dog, my this, my children, my this, my wife. We can learn. I know we are adaptable. I know we learn, but we refuse to learn. I know we see the truth, but we argue about whether it is the truth or not. I know we know what to do, but we spend time setting up commissions and consultants to find out what we can do when we know what we can do. This has now infiltrated to our business structures, to our government structures. We are spending billions on consultants to prepare a document for the minister, which will need other consultants to interpret it to the minister, and we're going to employ another task team to implement the recommendations of the document that resulted from the consultants. In the meantime, there is no water at Orange Farm. And no one says, send water there. So we've been trapped in the milieu of our confusion. And we will not be free because we never defeated nobody. Thabo Mbeki on his way to South Africa in 1993 via Julius Nyerere, and is very excited that we're entering into negotiations. And then Nyerere called him Mzee when we were in exile. Mzee said, Thabo, remember, you did not defeat the Boers. So you will have to compromise, even in the drafting of the Constitution. You'll have to constantly consider them. As you say land, you must consider them. As you say rights, you must consider them. As you say economic power, you must consider them. Everything you put on the table, you're going to have to consider them. And we are so wonderfully educated and so nauseatingly diplomatic. We don't say these things. We don't say these things because they sort of rock the apple cart. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. I'm saying bite the hand that stole everything from you. We are so afraid to lose our jobs, to lose our positions. That's why I became a writer. I make my own work and I employ me. But, my brother, as I'm going to sit down or leave to go and arrange this funeral for my sister, I want to say this is not the beginning. The movement is on. Next time we meet in Piwe, we are going to select some of the kids you deal with and some of the kids you help, some of the children you talk about, so that they're standing at the back and hear us speak the truth. We will not have the Cyril Ramaphosa Poverty Alleviation Conference at the Cape Town International Center, and there's not a single poor person as a guest. We will not talk about economic empowerment when the rest of our people at grassroots level are not economically viable. They have to be present. So next time we have an opportunity, we must have the people we're talking about. Are we saved? We're saved. Or we pretend to be saved. And yet we are women abusers, all of us in this room. If God were to say, if you tell a lie, I will strike you down now. Have you ever been violent, verbally, psychologically, physically to a woman? Raise your hand. Please don't, because I don't want to see God's wrath. You see, I love you to doing that. But the problem with men, they are representative of a constituency.
That's for sure.
Whatever we do seems to impact way beyond our understanding. And the problem with men is to define ourselves as different species with different genes in comparison to women. God didn't make a mistake, did he? Oh no, he had a plan in mind. Come on in and multiply. Multiply. Adam is getting the goods from Eve. And God says, Adam, where are you? He says, what have you done? He says, the wife you gave me asked me to eat. He doesn't say, I did eat, my Lord. He said, the wife you gave me. So, from now on, let's recognize all of us as human beings. Let's have our relationships with our children, with our wives and sisters and neighbors as human beings. As long as you look in the mirror, what do you see when you look in the mirror? Stop fixing your hair. Stop counting the gray hair. Women, stop checking your makeup. Stop trying to get Botox for the little dents on your forehead. Stop looking at the mirror on things you think you should look like. See you. See you. We are all created in the image of God. Therefore, what I see in the mirror is God. And I'm pleased when that image is God. But when I do these things that are not right, these things that are not building this nation, I do not see God. I see the embarrassment of what I have become. And I cover it with confidence. We're talking to my friend. I said, I live in a constituency of celebrities and very famous people. I spoke to young actors. I got one on the 29th. And then to take to actors. I saw one lady says to this young actress, you know, Tatu Kani, it's so difficult when you're a celebrity. So difficult. People think they own you. They want you to do this, they want you to do that. You can't even go shopping. I said, well, I don't know. My first play was in 1965. I can still go to the complex, to the supermarket and buy food and go out. Mm-hmm. I don't have your problem. I don't know why. I really don't know why. We're shooting a movie in Cape Town, and this beautiful girl, it's Boni Mbuli. And then there's a little 3 mamas around, you know, in Cape Town, and they're looking at her, and they say, Guyama, Globoni Guyama. And then as they move forward, and they say, can we take a picture with you? She says, oh my God, I hate this. And I turned around, what, sweetheart? And she said, people just think they can just, you know, maybe you're working on a set, they want a picture with you. I said, Bonnie, hold it. Because I'm an elder, you see. There's something about African that says respect gray hair. Irrespective of the fact that we are equal on the board. To hell with the board named Dalagna. To hell with your position. I said to those 3 ladies, come over here. I said, Bonnie, come. And said, give the camera to your friend. Okay, come, Bonnie. And I want you to count the seconds. I really want you to count the seconds. Now we're standing. 1, 2, 3, and they're gone. I said, Bonnie, that's all they asked for. 3 seconds. That's all they asked for. If they don't switch on the TV and stay on the channel where your episode is running, you are not getting the next season. Because your ratings are down. You are not who you are because of who you think you are. You are because those people think who you are. Someone says to me, oh Tata, I am so proud of you and your legacy. I said, no sweetheart, I don't have a legacy yet, I'm still alive. Tomorrow I'm going to do something so bad that's going to wipe it all. Wait for me to exit. And I only know or calculate my legacy is when a young man says to me, you came to speak at our school. You changed my life, Dad. That's legacy. Not me. The impact on that individual. That is legacy. Beautiful people, I want to thank you, Cynthia. I want to thank everybody here and for the gift. You know, the Kumbula within in December 18, Diogo Luke. And that if when you come out from this initiation school, you are given a stick. Yes, sir. And natutata, you're gonna relate to Umdana, ungabetumfaz wako ngayo. Lemdukitse when you are going to lobo lelunyana wako. When you go to that house to negotiate lobola for your son, it's got nothing to do with disciplining everybody. Because if you once use the stick, even disciplining your son, it no longer is the stick I gave you when you pumesutui. Do we have these lessons, my daughter, man? We know what the Father said to us. We know everything. But how the hell do we wipe up all that and be what we are? I'm angry at us and mostly angry at me for not honoring you when you took the wrong step.
Amen.
It should be my responsibility to say, excuse me. No. Now, although keep the distance, I like the the COVID-19 nonsense, because I will be telling that boy, don't. There's a gap before he gets to me. I could sidestep before he gets to me when I realize he doesn't like me asking him not. And to the women of this country, and to the women in this house, and introducing the beautiful lady. I've never received an award without my wife coming on stage to receive it with me. If she's not invited, I'm not coming. Because at 77, I can't be divorced, Kwadini. I don't know how to start now. I don't know the lines, you see. You come here often and say, don't be stupid, you're in my house. Okay, change it. Have I seen you before? Yes, we grew up together. I don't know the lines. And I asked my son, well, how's the way now? Dad, I talk to my kids, and they sometimes, oh, Jesus, Dad, we can talk about this thing. I said, yes, I can. Because that's where my writing material comes from how they answer me. So I asked him, he said, no, Dad, you see, like, if you see Lizzie and Senduka and Jack and if you get the number, and that's like first base. But you must be careful that you must call the number back while she's here. Because she may miss one digit delivery. Do you hear that?
Must be a WhatsApp number.
There is this thing about us black parents or African parents that we have forcefully adopted from the Western culture. Never interfere with the lives of your children. Do not put yourself in their space. A friend of mine noticed a change to his daughter and been trying to say, is anything wrong? He says, fine. Are you okay? Fine. And one day, after this mood of depression of a number of days, he walks into her room to talk to her and then realizes that, oh, she's gone, the room is open. And on the table was the diary. Now, as a very educated black man, I can't read my daughter's diary, can I? It's unthinkable. It's unethical. This thing in my house has been behaving in a manner that concerns me. Now here's the document lying on the table that is full of what of my worries could be about. But because I'm conditioned by the West, these are the rights of my daughter. I cannot do that. He puts the diary down. And later, 3 hours later, she died. She had overdosed with the worst kind of drugs. And then in standing there, goes to the diary and opens the first page. Throughout the diary is help, 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 help. And he says, from today, I search their clothes when they leave. I read their books when they're gone. I'm even trying to learn what their secret codes are on their computer, because I want to know what's going on to my children. I want to be there to say, can we talk? And can we talk is not on my terms, it's on their terms. Let me tell you, as an elder, I says to my son, would you like to take a drive with me? She says, oh no, I'm supposed, I said, you can name your price. Okay, I mean money. And we drive, and we drive. Are you fine? Sit down. And we drive. Are you okay? Yeah. Let me tell you something. Me and Mama had a problem about this. So I open up. As a writer, I create this virtual problem, which needed us to talk. I'm trying to open this fool next to me. And finally he says, no, I'm fine, that I know things with me, but it's okay that we're working through it. I said, no, okay, that's fantastic. That's fine. That's fine. So we're starting, then I know there's an issue between Yena and the partner, so I can get into that. We're doing the washing and my son is 16, and out of the pockets as we put the jeans to, did you realize I said we are doing the washing? I did not say my wife is doing the washing. I said, we are doing the washing. And as I empty the pockets so that, tissues in the washing machine make a mess. So I'm taking these tissues and out falls a condom. And my wife says, oh my God. And I said, no. Let's celebrate. This fool wants to live. Let us celebrate. This fool doesn't want to kill his girlfriend. These are the things we celebrate. I'm not celebrating that he's sexually active. That's got nothing to do with me. And I hope he is so he could learn. So, Simpiwe, I'm honored. My brother, I'm truly honored. I know I have to leave, but I would have loved that you have a register of everybody who attended, so that we could distribute these names to the people who were here, so we could learn to start networking, to start talking to each other. Please don't ask for a job in acting. You can't act. I can. Please, don't ask me questions or issues that we both benefit from. Enkosi nangomso.